All right. Up next, we've got Cry Me a Rivers. I like it. I like the song theme. That's what mine is. It fits. It's not your best player, so mine's Carry On, Wayward Sons, and that's not my best player. So I get it. It was good. That's good. Cry Me a Rivers. I got it. The good props on the name, Meagan. So look, Meagan traditionally has a just god awful team or the best team. And, starting out 1-0, I'm leaning towards the best team. But, man, just had a heartbreaker this first week. It's tough. There's always one or two players that go down in the first few weeks that you're just like, that's a wrecker. And Meagan certainly has one of them. So we'll get into that looking at her team. So, all right, so Deshaun Watson at QB, love that. He's going to be a top 5 QB, I think, fantasy-wise this year. Just looks unbelievable. Hopkins around him. He's got some real talent on that offense. And the defense is going to create turnovers. I know they weren't that great against the Saints, but it's the Saints. I really feel good about Houston this year. So that's a good. As they're playing Jacksonville, which had trouble versus Kansas City. I love the matchup. Derrick Henry just freaking went off against Cleveland. Another average defense in Indy. And they're playing at home. I love Derrick Henry right here. That's going to be good. Kenyon Drake. So this is interesting because I don't know how to feel about this because he plays for Miami. But without a doubt, he's their best skill player, in my opinion, right? I mean, I can't name another player on the team. They're horrible. And so sometimes having the best player on a horrible team can actually be pretty good. David Johnson and Larry Fitzgerald have been that for the Cardinals for years. And so, I'm interested to see how it goes. I don't expect him to put up a lot against New England. New England's pretty good at figuring out what you do well and stopping it. And Miami doesn't do anything well. But the only thing that they have a possibility of doing is running the ball. I expect 8 or 9 in the box the whole game. I don't know. We'll see, though. Alshon Jeffrey, Philadelphia. I don't like the matchup. I know it's Atlanta, but if I'm Philly playing in Atlanta, that crowd is tough, man. And they have physical corners. And Alshon Jeffrey, for the Eagles, I see Deshaun Jackson having a huge game. Huge game. I see Ertz having a big game. Jeffrey, unless they get close to the goal line, they don't really have a punch-it-in type of back. I know Jordan Howard's there, but, he's overblown. He's not that good. I wouldn't expect much from him, but, whatever. Alshon Jeffrey's a good toss-him-up type quarterback or wide receiver, and we saw that. We saw that in the Redskins game. They just chunked it up to him, and he caught one. So, it's not a horrible play, and with Tyreek Hill out, I get it. You got to. Chris Conley, I actually like this. I don't like the matchup. Houston's defense is going to look to bounce back after that New Orleans Saints performance. But, the secondary had a lot of holes. And Chris Conley looked good, man. Even with the backup quarterback in. So I potentially love this. Again, you're just so handicapped with your injury, which we'll get to. Evan Ingram for the Giants. I like that. I think Kyle Rudolph, by the way, is going to have a bigger game, though. Okay, Green Bay, traditionally really bad at stopping tight ends. Green Bay, in general, the defense is bad at stopping tight ends and running backs, and I get it. They had a hot start, but it was against a bad Bears offense. I'm not 100% sold on the Green Bay defense. The more I think about it, but then again, that is coming from a fan. I'm a fan of the Green Bay defense. So it's hard for me in matchups against Green Bay to be totally unbiased, but I really do feel like Minnesota, I feel like if anything, right? If anything, I think my most unbiased view is Green Bay is going to apply a lot of pressure to Kirk Cousins, who's going to need somebody to check it down to. And so I just think Dalvin Cook, Kyle Rudolph, those guys are going to have huge games. Maybe Thielen, maybe, but I'm really thinking I think you should start Kyle Rudolph over Evan Ingram. And again, when I'm saying these things, guys, it's your team. You start whoever you want, right? I'm just letting you know who I would start. That way, I reserve the right to go back and this time next week say, "Told you so. Told you would have won." Right? I think that could potentially put you over the top because right now it has Lindsay beating you. I actually agree with that, looking at her team. But I would start Kyle Rudolph, and I think that'll swing some things in your favor. Philip Rivers is your other quarterback. Oh, I skipped right over Matt Breida. And so did the rest of the NFL. And so did his career. He's like a third-string running back right now, Meagan. Get rid of him. No, Duke Johnson Jr. Why is he on your bench? Bro, like, I'm sorry. You're not a bro. Respect for the two girls in the league. You aren't a bro. But I don't know what else to say. Like, chick? That doesn't really roll off the tongue. Girl? Nah. Listen. Okay? No pronouns attached. You need to start Duke Johnson Jr., okay? That's the starter. I get that he's going to split time with Hyde, but he's a better running back than Hyde is. And he plays in a better offense than Breida does. And he's not a backup. Breida is. That's pretty much certain now. Sit Matt Breida. Start Duke Johnson. Start him. I promise you won't be sad. I promise you. Do it. Philip Rivers versus Carson Wentz. It is what it is. Philip Rivers is going to be okay, but he turns the ball over, and Carson Wentz is a little bit better in that department against the sorry Atlanta defense. I think Philip Rivers is probably going to do okay. Titans defense, deceptively good last week. I don't know what to think. I mean, they're playing Jacoby Brissett, which 3 weeks ago he was a backup. It's at home. They destroyed the Browns. I don't know. That's a tough one. We'll have to come back there. Who else you got? Saints D. Oh, wow. Saints D at the Rams. Yeah, start the Titans. Okay. All right. Looking at your bench play, right? Here we go. Here's the injury. Tyreek Hill. Whew. Oh, man. I'm so sorry, Meagan. Wow. I think you have probably one of the better teams in the league if he's healthy. That's a 10-point swing easy because then you're probably sitting Drake. You're starting Henry and Duke Johnson Jr. And then you've got Jeffrey, Conley, and then Hill. And then you've got Kyle Rudolph at tight end. Breida's on the bench. Yeah, man. He changes everything for you. That's awful. All right, so just going back down through the list, changes I would make: Kyle Rudolph and Duke Johnson Jr. Those guys need to come off your bench, and putting them in their place, I'm putting Evan Ingram on the bench, and I'm putting Matt Breida on the bench. So that's my breakdown for you, Meagan. Good luck.